This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're up at Glean, and I guess the man of the moment, Owen O'Neill. How are you, mate?
Yes, man, I'm all good. Fighting here in 2 weeks. Feeling good. Obviously, just back from Sparring Eubank. So
We knew that was coming, doesn't it?
can't quit the wee prick. But yeah, just back from Sparring Eubank. So on a serious buzz. Still am.
I was going to say, sort of, I guess you've still been on the buzz, obviously, since your fight with ONeillDuffy. I know, obviously, when we spoke afterwards, we weren't obviously sure what was going on. I think at that stage we knew everything was okay, but since then you've sort of still been on the buzz. I think you've been carrying the belt everywhere. I guess it was a good point to start on is, looking back on that fight, obviously it's been nominated for Fight of the Year. It got my vote for Fight of the Year because I just thought the fight delivered everything, and I think we sort of touched on it, like your first stoppage as a pro and stuff as well, and on what better way to do it. But if you sort of watched the fight back much, I guess, your first and foremost thoughts were obviously your granddad and everything else, and going to the graveside, and because obviously he's a big part of your life, but have you watched the fight back? Have you sort of looked at it and you're still going, I can't believe it was me? Does it still sort of feel like a dream to you?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think I had that in the locker, but it just shows that I didn't go to the dark places and come back. Because I've watched the fight about 10 times, the whole fight. I've probably watched the knockout about 50,000 times. But yeah, I was down on the scorecards. I think the judge had it down, him up by 1 round, so I needed the knockout going into the last, and D told me that in the last round as well. So I can't believe how good of a fight it was, and I'm so glad that I've showed that I can be in a fight like that and still in the last round produce a knockout. You know what I mean? Because it was a hard fight, and I took some heavy shots.
I was just about to say there. I think you were hurt a couple of times, and obviously the fight, and at some stages we were sort of going, how you survive, and sort of, you were hurt. You could physically see at times you were hurt, but I guess sometimes in life, doing things the easy way is no lasting memory. Sort of for you to come behind and be down in the scorecards, they obviously produce that. I guess you're probably the first and foremost thought going into the 8th round was going, let's win the round, get it a draw, and think of a rematch. But they come out with obviously a stunning knockout like that. Like, to say you've watched it 50,000 times, like the serious buzz you have afterwards, and probably very easy to say it's your best moment in boxing to do it.
Oh, I flipped. Definitely. It's the best night of my whole life. Boxing and my whole life, it was just the best night ever. Obviously it was just a bit mad because the way Duffy gets stretchered out of the ring and stuff, but it was so glad. Like, I was on the phone to him on the Sunday, and me and him are good friends now. He messages me here and there, but mate, that's like, you always wonder to yourself, like, when things get tough, will you be able to survive? And like I said, I got hit some heavy shots. Even by round 2, I got hit some heavy shots, and round 7 was probably my worst round. And I just kept coming. Duffy actually said to me on Sunday, he hit me with everything he had, and I just kept coming forward. So it just shows that I've got that, I don't know what it is, that I've got
the grit, just when the going gets tough.
When things get tough, I can still stay in there and then produce that knockout. And it's a candidate of knockout of the year, so I'm absolutely buzzing, like, definitely.
And I'm guessing confidence wise now, you've always downplayed things, obviously you're a relative novice, obviously in amateur boxing, and even obviously still in professional boxing. What does that do for your confidence now going forward, knowing that you've been hurt in a fight, knowing that obviously you've had to come from behind, you've produced a knockout? What does that do for your confidence now? And I guess obviously bringing in the Eubank side of things as well, for I know obviously you're over in December sparring, and then obviously you're back again. Like, what's your confidence levels like right now? Is this taking you to a new level?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely give me a serious confidence boost. It just showed, like, I was over sparring Eubank, I was doing well. I got invited back after Christmas, so it just shows you, like, I was obviously over there doing well. Yeah, mate, it's just I'm on such a high at the minute, and just may it continue, because everyone knows boxing, it's so many highs, but there's also so many lows. So I'm just loving this moment. You know what I mean?
And how did the sparring come about? Obviously, the Eubank, was it sort of they reached out to you, or did they reach out to Mark or Dee? How did it come about?
Mark actually sent me a message saying Chris Eubank's team has been on to me. They want you to go to England next week for 3 spars. And I texted him back saying, flip me, you're joking me. And then he phoned me and says, yeah, they want you over. So basically, that was it. I went over by myself. When I told many people I was going by myself, they were like, flip your heads away, going over to spar Eubank by yourself. But I went over and they were all sound as a pound. Chris was 100% of me. Like, he came in, shook my hand, said welcome and stuff. And then Ronnie Davis actually said to me, when I walked in, he's like, who you with? Because it was me and another sparring partner. He had his dad and coach there, and then the other sparring partner the week after had his coach there, so I was just by myself. And Ronnie says, who you here with? And I says, I'm by myself. And he goes, flip, you're a typical Belfast lad. Hard as hell. And I was like, well, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was some buzz. Great experience, and it's obviously made me 10 times a fighter. Do you know what I mean?
And I guess, it's, getting to meet obviously a Hall of Fame legend and Roy Jones Jr. as well. Like, I obviously sort of knew inklings of obviously what was going on, but obviously because you're in a camp and everything else, you can't disclose things. But I guess sort of people would start seeing whenever they see the background and obviously Roy Jones Jr. But I guess you're sort of still living in that moment, but now it's focusing on your fight in 2 weeks' time. You just have to forget all the camaraderie. It's sort of one with it. Everybody probably wants to interview you because you've been sparring Chris Eubank and everything else, but now the focus is back on you and obviously your 11 pro fight in 2 weeks' time. I bet you just can't wait to get in and show the improvements once again.
Yeah, well, that's it. I just slipping. It was a dream come true. Going over there and sparring Eubank, like, I grew up watching him, like, too. You know what I mean? I only turned pro when I was 23, so he was pro then. I watched him, and his dad, the name Eubank. You know what I mean? It was, if the name gives you shivers. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just an amazing experience. But then again, it's sparring. Like, I need to, like you said, focus on myself now. I got what I got from it, and just now I need to turn it into my own games, you know what I mean, and focus on the 4th of February, and then hopefully it is a great year for me, and just kick on, I
guess it's a realisation sometimes to people that even if you're not a massive name in the sport and you've had to come through the small hall circuit, you're still having to have to sell tickets and everything else, but it's just testament to people if they just knuckle down and keep doing the hard work. Opportunities like that can come about, and I'm sure you probably learned so much from obviously being in a ring with somebody like Chris Eubank, that nothing's sort of going to faze you now in the sport. Yeah. What will that do for you, obviously, with the sparring? What will that do for you moving forward now, knowing that you've, Chris Eubank Jr. is probably the best person you're obviously ever going to have, maybe the opposite side of the ring from you. Yeah. But what's that sparring going to do for you moving forward in 2023?
Yeah, well, I went over to spar and I was very nervous. Going over, because I heard a lot of stories that he tries to kill his sparring partners, and don't get me wrong, he does go all out here and there, you know what I mean, but I held my own, and like I've said many times, I got invited back the next week, so I've obviously done well, and it's only going to add to my game, so.
And in 2 weeks' time, obviously, you're not defending obviously your belt. I think it's just a 6-rounder. Are you still sort of making decisions? Because I know the plan was to obviously move down to welterweight or even lower. What's the sort of inkling now? Is a sort of that super welterweight? I know that you'd said that the fight was only at super welter because the fight with obviously Duffy couldn't be made at welterweight with the BUI. Yeah. Is the plan sort of now after you've sort of warm up now? Is the plan to get back down to welterweight and sort of, or are you maybe looking at Irish title at? I guess sort of exploring all options.
Yeah, well, the plan is this fight. I think it's, I don't know what weight it's at. Maybe it's 70 or 71. And the plan is to do the weight like without a weight cut, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Like, I've always done these the day of the weigh, and the day before the weigh, and I'm doing saunas and water loads and stuff. The plan is now just to lose the weight as it goes on, and then whatever wake up that day, weigh in, so I don't like get all the water and then it balloon back up. So that's what always my problem's been. So it's to make the weight properly here, like not do a weight cut basically for this fight, and then just the plan is to move down, yeah. But it's just see what happens too. Like, do you know what I mean? So
It's exciting times, I guess. Like, I can remember, obviously, even before you were pro and everything else, obviously, you're in training with Paddy Gall. They sort of look at, obviously, how your sort of careers unfolded from then. Because, obviously, I remember in the old part of Glean and, obviously, the Sparring, they see where you've come. Like, it's crazy, and it just goes to show you how the progression can go in the sport. Like, as I say, you're loving it. It's the best moments of your life, but there's even more memories to come. Like, if you won an Irish title, you're ranked in Europe and stuff as well. You can fight for a European title. The world's your oyster now, and you probably can't realise maybe what could be ahead for you.
I'm actually mandatory for an Irish title at super welterweight, but obviously the goal is to move down. But we'll just see what happens. But like, people laughed at me when I turned pro when I was 23 because only 18 amateur fights didn't win anything, so I'm hoping now I'm starting to earn people's respect. Do you know what I mean?
And I think with that fight of year with ONeillDuffy, I think I haven't spoke to anybody, didn't enjoy it. It was all action from the very first second to obviously the knockout happening. And sometimes people can be disrespectful, maybe trying to call out fights. You're a name in Ireland, and it's not just for selling tickets. It's because of the way you carry yourself in and out the ring. Probably in North Belfast now. People's going to go, what's going on? You two are becoming mates and you slabber at each other, but you're becoming like a role model for some of the younger ones coming up. Yeah. What sort of message would you say to any of the younger ones coming up who probably don't have a lot of amateur experience or probably aren't feeling they're getting the best out of boxing, just to keep persevering, keep working hard?
I'm one of the most hard-working guys you'll meet, like, and people will tell you it. I actually remember a professional boxer messaged me after that fight, and he said, I always knew you'd do well because you were a hard worker. I wasn't the most talented, but I was always hard working. And I remember when I did turn pro, I had people saying, what's he turning pro for and all this here, and it did, like, I was not scundered, but like I was like, don't want people talking about me now and all stuff like that. But I'm glad because of the sparring I've done and the fights I've been in now with Duffy. I'm just hoping they earn people's respect now, you know what I mean?
Does that help sometimes when people are sort of discrediting you, or it makes you work harder, makes you show people?
Yeah, you want to prove them wrong, don't you? Like, yeah, so that's what's always, it's still sort of in that, I still have that sort of feeling about things. I want to prove people wrong. But listen, I'm a hard worker, like, so just go with the flow, and the sky's the limit, you know what I mean?
And where would you like to obviously be by the end of 2023? Is it, I guess, it just to keep trucking on, obviously, as usual, get as many fights, get as much experience as possible, and I guess obviously with Mark, the Magic Man, Dunlop, obviously behind you as well, your opportunities are endless because Mark will get you an opportunity that no one else could. Yeah. So is it just a case of seeing what Mark can do for you this year?
Yeah, just staying in the gym. Like, the year's already started off brilliant, getting invited back over to spar Eubank. So the year's been on such a high for me. So just to keep that high going, get the win here 4th of February and then push on, hopefully.
And I'm guessing obviously this weekend then obviously you're number one supporter for Chris Eubank, or obviously how do you feel? I guess you have to obviously be. I didn't want to mention that because I didn't want to start to call me a sheepshagger again because things are getting tight at the top. He's the top of the league just about, but well, Carrick.
Listen, not really. That's all.
But obviously on Eubank Smith this weekend, you're obviously going to be a big Eubank supporter this weekend, and hopefully maybe he can bring you across again for sparring camp in the future.
Yeah, well that's it. Before I met him, obviously not many people like him, to be honest with you. Just the way he carries himself now, but he was total 100% to me. Like when I was in the gym, he was flipping, he welcomed me, and then when I left, he was saying thanks for coming over and stuff like that. And I hope he does it, like. But I also like Liam Smith too, you know what I mean. But I hope now, because I've sparred him now, I hope he wins, and he's looking to fight Triple G or Canelo next. So maybe I can get over again for more sparring. You know?
And here you might get tickets for the fight as well. You may offer you tickets.
Fuck here, who knows? You know what I mean.
Definitely. And then obviously finally the big one. Then obviously Saturday, Coleraine and Cliftonville at Solitude. An easy 3 points for Coleraine, and obviously me and you not being friends for a week or so. And even on the day of the fight, Coleraine and Cliftonville play. Every time me and you interview, Coleraine and Cliftonville seem to be playing. What is it about football?
I don't know. Just the sheepshaggers. I just hope I slap him. You know what I mean? Simple as that.
Thankfully I've got this recorded now, so if he says that Cliftonville's going to win and to get beaten Saturday, I'll have it as a good reminder. But obviously good to catch up obviously with you. Obviously we'll look forward to obviously fight week in 2 weeks time, and seeing you going 11-0 as a pro.
100%. That's it. Good man, mate.
Cheers, Owen. Take care.